Hello everybody, I hope that you are well. My name is Christianne and welcome to my channel Backpacking Bananas. I'm so sorry, it has been so long since I've had a chat with you in any kind of vlog, let alone me sitting at my desk here at home. So firstly, thank you so much for your patience and it is so lovely to be back. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, as if it's the end of 2023. I know that's what everyone's saying and I feel like the older you get, the faster that the years go by every single year, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think a lot of YouTubers are making like highlights and lowlights of their year, and I do want to make a video like that. But in this video, I hope to give you some proper valuable information. I'm going to be having a look back at my year of 2023 and going through all of the travel items and habits that actually made a difference to my life, that actually improved my travels, new things I've discovered, new things I've implemented that have just made everything better. And if I mention any tangible or online products in this video, everything will be linked in the description if you want to find it. So firstly, something that's just absolutely changed the game for me has been using eSIMs. Now in previous years, whenever I've needed data or minutes in a foreign country, which my home network doesn't cover, I've just got a local SIM card of that country, which is good and it works well. I was finding this consistent problem whereby when I was putting a new SIM card in my phone, it meant I had to take my British SIM card out. And you know, with security these days and all these like two-step verification and authentication, you're always having to receive a text with a confirmation code to make sure you can log into all of your accounts. So being someone that's chronically on the internet, I kept having this issue where I was being texted these confirmation codes, but they were being texted to my British SIM card, not the foreign one that was in my phone. So I was just constantly switching SIMs in and out. And I thought, you know what? I think it's finally time for me to try an eSIM whereby I can keep my British SIM card in my phone, but I can access local data in the country I'm in without having to take my SIM card out. And my God, was it game changing? I think my initial reservations with it were that they are a bit more expensive than buying an actual local SIM card. However, I have come to the realization that paying that little bit extra is 100% worth it for the convenience and for not having to faff around and lose a bunch of SIM cards. So I've been using an app called Airalo. I know that there are a bunch of different ones, but I really like it. It's super easy to install SIMs wherever you are in the world, and I just have data and I know I'm connected from the get-go. And actually, this isn't sponsored, but I've just looked on the app and it says that you can get $3 off if you use my referral link, so I will put that in the description. The next thing is another digital thing to have whilst you are traveling, and that is to have a VPN. If you don't know, a VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and the VPN that I use is Surfshark, and Surfshark are kindly the sponsors of today's video. So I'm a diehard fan of booking.com. I use it to book all of my accommodations, and when I was in Turkey earlier on this year looking to book accommodation in Turkey, I simply could not. You can get onto booking.com, but none of the accommodations come up, and that's because for whatever reason booking.com doesn't work in Turkey. However, this is when Surfshark came in so handy, because with a click of a button I was able to switch the virtual location of my device to the UK where I know that booking.com works, and suddenly with that click of a button the entire service was available to me and I could book the things that I wanted in Turkey. And you could change your virtual location to pretty much anywhere in the world depending on where you need your device to be. And what Surfshark also does is it turns your public Wi-Fi connection into a private one. So when you're connected to a public Wi-Fi network at the airport, for example, or in a cafe, your device is actually at risk of being hacked through that connection. But when you switch your Surfshark on, it acts as an immediate virtual shield onto your connection and it turns it into a private one so that none of those evil hackers can get in. And Surfshark are one of the only VPNs that allows you access on an unlimited number of your devices with just the one account. And Surfshark are giving you guys an exclusive deal. When you use my code backpacking, you will get up to 6 months for free. You can also just click the link in the description. The next thing that's really changed the travel game for me in 2023 is actually a habit, and that habit was something that I implemented when I was in Australia, and that is when I arrived in every new destination, I would buy some fruit at the supermarket that would just live by my bed, stuff that didn't need to be refrigerated. So normally I would just buy like a couple of apples and a couple of bananas to make sure that I was getting in my fruit intake daily, because I know as a backpacker that it can be very hard, especially when you're just here, there and everywhere. You don't have a strict routine, you don't have your normal schedule. It can be hard to get those things in. So I found that just getting into the routine of buying some fruit every time I arrived in a new destination was really, really good for that. The next thing is a travel item, which is probably quite unexpected, but my God, I do not know what I did without this beforehand. A karaoke microphone. I kid you not, I'm not going to turn it on now because it's nighttime and my niece is sleeping. But this thing is just the most fun way of getting people together, of just like using when you're with a small group of people, when you're in a big group of people. If you go to a karaoke night and you whip out the karaoke microphone, I literally got all this off Amazon for like £12 and it comes with me everywhere. I just think it's iconic and everyone loves it. And it's just been such a fun thing to use as an icebreaker as well. The next thing is a travel habit that I was really getting into. I have an incredibly strong preference in dorm rooms about having the bottom bunk. I know most people do prefer the bottom bunks. Some people prefer the top ones. Some people just are kind of like, it's neither here nor there. They don't really care. I want the bottom bunk. I feel noticeably sadder if I arrive into a dorm room and realise that I've got a top bunk. So I have got into the habit of trying to arrive to my hostel as early as I can in the day, or just as close to check-in time as possible, so that I have the best chance of getting a bottom bunk. Or a lot of the modern hostels these days actually assign you a bunk before you even check in. So I might even WhatsApp that hostel ahead of time and say, hey, if you have any control over this, would you mind please placing me in a bottom bunk if possible? You know, I ask really nicely, and more often than not, if they do actually have the control to do that, they will. With those two things, I haven't actually had a top bunk in like over 6 months. My entire time in Mexico just had bottom bunks for the whole month, even though I stayed in several different hostels. It really does work if you play your cards right. The next thing is a travel item, and that is an air fly. So basically what it is something that you can plug into your plane seat, which you can then Bluetooth your wireless headphones to. So obviously this would only be useful if you actually have wireless headphones, but if you do, it's just so much more comfortable to use your own on the plane than using whatever the plane's is, or to have like wires wrapped around. It's just so convenient. The next thing is a travel habit, which I definitely mentioned before this year, but it really has just revolutionized the way that I travel, because I travel carry-on only most of the time now, which means that my liquids are very restricted. I can only bring a maximum of 100 milliliter bottles, and all of those 100 milliliter bottles have to fit into that small plastic bag. And I've been really getting into my skincare and things this year, and it's just not enough. And so if I do want to take a bigger bottle of something, maybe it's shampoo, conditioner or shower gel or sun cream that I just know I can get for a cheaper price back home, I will place an order on Boots online, and I will order it to the store of the airport that I'm going to, and make sure that I've typed in after security, so like Gatwick North Terminal after security. And I'll do this like a week in advance of my flight so that my liquids are definitely there. It is important to note though that if you are getting on a connecting flight, I would not do this, because there's every chance that on your layover you're going to go through another layer of security which might not allow you to take those big liquids through. So make sure that you are only doing this if you have a direct flight to your destination. The next thing is a habit that I have actually been doing for years, and I know a bunch of you have started doing it as well, but it is a habit that I am continuing to do, so I will tell you now if you haven't heard it already, and that is putting shower caps on your shoes to protect them inside your suitcase. I just get these super cheap plastic shower caps. In fact, most of the time, if I ever stay in a hotel and they give you a free shower cap, I just pick it up then, and then I just manage to have a stash with me throughout the months. But it's just a really simple and effective way of stopping your shoes from making the rest of the things in your bag dirty, whilst just keeping really minimal. The next thing is an item that I should have acquired a lot longer ago, but I acquired a really good one for the first time in Australia this year, and I'm never looking back. So that is a good quality insulated water bottle, specifically one that you've got a little flippy straw on the top for just ease of access. Having this throughout Australia, throughout my time in Europe, throughout my time in Pakistan as well, was just absolutely game changing. Being able to fill this with cold water at the beginning of the day, and then even up to 24 hours later, it's still cold no matter how hot it's been outside. I just think having a nice big insulated water bottle is absolutely essential at this point. I got a Hydro Flask. It's the one that's just under 1 litre, and I would highly recommend it. And I also got this pouch. I actually think it's supposed to be for pet food, but it's like the perfect sling to hold a water bottle in, and that was amazing as well, especially hiking in Pakistan. Like having that as well as my bum bag was just a super useful combo, so I'll link that down below as well. And then to go along with that, because I have my nice new water bottle, just a habit that I really got into was making a special effort to actually drink water, setting reminders on my phone, holding myself accountable with other people of like, have I drunk enough water today? Monitoring the colour of my pee to check that I'm staying hydrated enough, because I know that I'm someone that kind of forgets to drink, if I'm completely honest. If I'm not doing something super physical, I don't really get thirsty. So I have to make a conscious effort somehow to remember to drink water. And the next thing, on a somewhat similar note, that really changed the game for me this year was drinking AG1, formerly known as Athletic Greens. This is a greens powder which is filled with prebiotics, probiotics, all the supplements you can think of, all the superfoods that you can think of. And I drank this every day with water in the month leading up to Pakistan and all throughout my trip in Pakistan, and I did not get sick once, and I felt amazing. And I just thought that was revolutionary, because I got so sick the previous year, and actually after the Pakistan trip I had forgotten to renew my subscription, so then I wasn't drinking the greens powder, and I got sick like twice in 3 months. And I was like, is this because I'm not taking my supplements? Probably, because I know that my diet's all over the place, but drinking AG1 makes sure I have all those supplements and nutrients that my body needs. So anyway, you'll be pleased to know that I have renewed my subscription again now, and I'm excited to get back on the AG1 hype, and I'm not going to be stopping. I have an ongoing subscription. This is not sponsored in any way, by the way, but I just really think it has made huge improvements to my health and is something that is going to be a big factor in contributing to my future health. The next thing is another habit that I got into, especially in Australia, and it's also linked to what I buy at the supermarket, and it's basically just not buying anything that needed to be refrigerated. I generally find in hostel kitchens all over the world, not just in Australia, the hostel fridge is normally very full. It's normally not the cleanest. I don't like it. I would rather not have to keep food there, because also transporting refrigerated food from destination to destination is just risky and difficult. So whenever I would do a supermarket shop whilst I'm backpacking, I would exclusively buy items that just didn't need to be refrigerated. And that was great. It really felt like a proper travel hack. The next thing is an item that truly changed the game for me this year, and that was having a super powerful power bank, but not so powerful that you can't get it into China. It's like the max power bank that you can get into China, but I can take it everywhere in the world with me. And this one in particular, I don't know the name of it at the top of my head because it doesn't seem to have a name on it, but I will link it below because I got it from Amazon. And the reason why I love this one so much is because it has a built-in USB-C cable. It also has a built-in lightning cable, and then it also has 2 USB sockets that you can plug things into. It has micro USB, it has USB-C, and it's charged with a USB-C as well. And it always tells you the percentage of how much battery you have left on it, but it lasts absolutely ages. I could charge my phone, I could charge all my cameras on this thing, my Apple Watch, and I could probably charge my phone like 10 times. So with this, I was just never ever stressed that any of my things were going to run out of battery, and that is just the biggest weight off of my shoulders. And it also meant that I could lend it to others. I could literally just completely charge up other people's phone and not even worry that I was going to run out myself. I love this power bank so much. It's really changed the game for me in 2023, and I'll link it down below. The next thing is another habit, and that was wearing SPF on my face every single day, factor 50, and practically every day also a hat. Now I have my Lululemon cap, which I absolutely love for travel because it's super good in the hot weather. It's really lightweight if you're sweating, and it also packs up super small. However, I've been finding that I don't know if the camera's really going to show, but I've been getting these sunspots on the side of my face here, which you can never get rid of. And I've only been really getting them on the sides here, and I think it's because I've been wearing my cap a lot. So in the future, you're going to be seeing me wearing my wide brimmed hat a lot more that I always wear in Pakistan. It's kind of like safari-esque, but I think it's really cool. Like, I think I could wear it anywhere. I also might get into bucket hats because they go all the way around as well, and I just really want my face to be protected from the sun. Now, the next one's a bit of a controversial one considering I'm called Backpacking Bananas, but I'm going to say it anyway. And that is the realization that I don't need a backpack for all of the trips that I go on. And this year I've been leaning a lot more towards suitcases over backpacks. And this realization came after I did my South America trip last year, whereby I had a hybrid backpack which had wheels, and I only used the backpack formation once in the whole of South America. And so I was like, do I even need a backpack? Because here's the thing for me specifically, I will always have my electronics backpack on me, which carries my laptop, my iPad, my electrical equipment, my cameras and things like this. So if I were to have a backpack also as my main luggage, it means I always have two backpacks, which in my opinion is not as ideal as having a small suitcase, which I can actually hook my smaller backpack onto. I can wheel it anywhere where I have a fairly flat surface. But what I will say with this is that I've always gone for a small suitcase, because although you can wheel it almost everywhere, you do have to bring it up steps, up flights of stairs, along cobbled roads, and you want to be able to pick it up very, very easily. So I've never gone bigger than like 45-litre case, basically still carry-on size, because I think when you start bringing the bigger suitcases that you have to check in, that's when, yeah, bringing that backpacking just wouldn't work. It would be too heavy, and I think you would probably hate doing that. But for most circumstances, I found that a small suitcase is preferable over a backpack. That's it. I've said it. Though saying that, the first trip that I'm doing in 2024, I am actually bringing my backpack, but you'll see why. That is like a crazy mega adventure trip, and I'm excited to show you where I go. And the last thing that I have on my list of things that have basically changed the travel game for me in 2023, and that is AirTags on everything, or at least on as many things as you can get away with. I've got one in my electricals backpack, I've got one in my main luggage, I've got one in my purse. I've actually been meaning to attach one to my passport as well. I've heard so many stories this year of like people I know losing their passports, and that is just my worst nightmare. I don't want it happening, so I do plan on putting an AirTag in my passport as well. Just being able to have peace of mind of knowing where these items are when you are parted from them. And also, like with my purse or with my keys, for example, if I can't find it, I can just play the ringing sound so I can hear it and find it super easy. It's just game changing. It's just convenient. I think we're so lucky and spoiled to be traveling in this day and age where we can do things like have trackers on our luggage so that we never lose it. I'm very grateful and very happy that I get to experience this. But anyway, that was my list of travel items and habits that have actually been super useful to me in 2023. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and perhaps learned something that you didn't know before. Like I said, I'm going to link all the items that I've mentioned in this video in the description below if you want to check them out. And I will see you guys in the next video in 2024. I think I'm going to do quite a lot more videos just sitting here and chatting to you and giving you tips, because I really haven't done that in a while. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.